On this episode of Latinas, we'll celebrate what it means to be a mother, meet an indigenous partera, and so much more. Latinas starts now. Welcome to Latinas, the show that's all about nuestras mujeres in the Latinx community. I'm Tina Beth Pina. Today I'm in the Lower East Side at the community garden, La Plaza Cultural Armando Perez. It's not only a beautiful place to sit back, relax, and get away from the hustle and bustle of New York City, but it's also one of the birthplaces of salsa music, where on any given night back in the day, you'd see Tito Puente or Machito perform, and we'll have more on this park's salsa connection later in the show. But first, it's that time of year when we honor our mothers, and for some women, choosing a midwife can be a way of having both a personal and natural birth experience on your way to motherhood. Correspondent Elena Romero met with one Latina midwife who combines indigenous traditions with Western midwifery. Let's take a look.
I remember when I was pregnant with my oldest son, being in a tipi ceremony, peyote ceremony, and it was praying with the medicine, with the fire, and being pregnant, all like aligned, and it just had the thought crossed my mind for the first time to become a midwife.
Midwives are highly trained medical professionals supporting women through pregnancy and childbirth. Midwife and partera, Tikari Matisit, sees childbirth as a sacred ceremonial event.
Every day I try to honor life as ceremony, and then so it makes birth as ceremony just, flow that way. And then depending on the mother, the pregnant person, the life giver, and her family, her traditions, her background, is how midwifery is balanced with Western or traditional indigenous practices, because I'm always like, it's your body, it's your birth, and I'm happy to share my culture, my traditions, but it's not for everyone. And so it's nice when other mothers bring in their culture.
Tisit, who is raised Chicana Indígena, is certified by the American College of Nurse Midwives and is licensed by the state of New York and New Jersey. Tisit's practice provides a wide range of services, including prenatal and postpartum care, holistic gynecology, and breastfeeding support.
I remember a midwife saying to be a home birth midwife, you need balls of steel. And I'm thankful to my professors, my preceptors, Western midwifery, for what I learned. And I needed that. But there's so much more to midwifery, is what I've learned from traditional parteras and midwives outside of the U.S. And the midwives that I meet, the parteras I meet that are connected to ceremony, to the sweat lodge. Like, there's a book by Patricia Gonzalez called Red Medicine, and she says, a midwife is not a midwife without a sweat lodge. And to me, that makes sense. To my birth worker friends who walk the red road, that makes sense.
Tisit's philosophy of care supports all life givers making decisions about their bodies and the type of birth experience they want.
Every mom that gives birth, when they come in there and they're able to just, physically let their body heal, pray, speak about their emotions, healing heart memories in there, like, that's what it's all about.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams has just introduced a midwifery initiative as part of New York City's comprehensive plan to address disparities in maternal health. The initiative will track data with midwives across the city and better integrate them into the healthcare system. For Latinas, I'm Elena Romero.
Motherhood can take on many different forms, and as more and more women are choosing to become mothers in non-traditional ways, the notion of motherhood is changing. Diana Vargas is about to introduce you to two Latinas who are not following the traditional path to motherhood. In fact, one woman is not a mother at all, and in the process, they are both redefining what motherhood is all about.
Growing up, LGBT activist Diana de la Pava and her mother had a difficult relationship. However, that didn't prevent Diana from finding her identity and becoming a mother herself, building a special bond with her daughter.
My mom and I didn't really get along well because I reminded her of a lesbian sister she had. She used to dress me like Shirley Temple when I was little, and I hated it because I was a tomboy. When I was 20, that she found out that I was gay, I was like, that's it, I'm out of the closet. Since I was little, I wanted to have a daughter because I wanted to have a healthy mother-daughter bond, which I never was able to have with my mother. Hola, cosita. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
¿Sí? ¿Cómo te fue?
Bien.
¿Ah? ¿Sí? Un beso. This is Alex Oriano de la Pava. She's 12 years old. She's an amazing kid.
What do you think about your mom?
She's really nice and she's a really good mom.
Yeah?
When I decided to become a mom, I was 41. The day I turned 41, I decided to go for it. I didn't have a penny, but I figured, you know, I have always followed my heart to do everything, so I should follow my heart also for this because I'm running out of time. And I went for it, and I used a donor that was half Colombian, half European, and I had a daughter, and she's my life. What do you think about me being gay?
I think it's perfectly normal.
Yeah? Okay. I have given her the support and love that I didn't get. I feel super proud that she is such a good kid. I'm also proud that I have been able to heal myself. I had parent-teacher conference with her teachers, her science teacher, her social studies teacher, her math teacher, and her ELA teacher. The four of them told me that she's such an amazing kid, that she's so well educated, that she's so respectful, that I did an amazing job with her.
Diana has done an amazing job indeed. Other women, like speech pathologist Ivana Vargas, have decided not to have children and still have complete and fulfilling lives. What was the moment that you decided that you didn't want to have kids?
So I think it was probably like 10 years ago when I was in my mid-20s that I started to consider the possibility of like building a family without having children. So I feel like my main purpose is not to have children, but maybe it is to do other things that mothers do. So in my profession, I have the opportunity to teach kids, to kind of also teach other mothers, not how to be mothers, but how to do a lot of things that have to do with motherhood, like teach language, how to communicate with your child. And I do really love working with kids. I love what I do with them. I love what they teach me. I love like how I get to experience like their relationships they have with other members of their family. How can I make that better?
How is it with your mother? Because mothers and Latina mothers, Latina mamas, they expect kids to have kids and then they to be abuelas.
My mother and I have different views and like a different perspective. Still, she would love for me to come one day and say like, I'm gonna have a baby, like a, you know, a traditional family, a husband, 2 kids, a house. But I feel like she now understands that it's more like of a personal choice. And I think also comes from a place where she has seen that it could be done in a different way.
For Latinas, this is Diana Vargas.
Have you ever heard of La Dama? If not, get ready to meet this powerhouse alternative band of Latina musicians who not only create great music, but also seek to empower women through their songs and educational workshops.
Yo soy Daniela Serna, soy músico colombiana de Bogotá, soy percusionista, compositora y también soy educadora.
Mi nombre es María Fernanda González Olivo, también conocida como Maffer Bandola. Ejecuto la bandola llanera, que es un instrumento tradicional venezolano, y formo parte de un colectivo multinacional de 4 mujeres de 4 países distintos.
Afortunadamente todas resultamos seleccionadas para representar a cada uno de nuestros países en un programa que se llama One Beat. Así empezó como la aventura de la dama en el 2016. El segundo disco de la dama se llama Oye Mujer, que tenemos el merch. Lo grabamos en Río de Janeiro. Fue un disco en el que tuvimos mucho más tiempo para explorar, para experimentar. Ya sabíamos que teníamos los ritmos autóctonos de nuestros países, pero que queríamos ir un poco más hacia el lado electrónico, ¿no? Probar con otros sonidos, probar con máquinas, probar con sintetizador. Lo hicimos, integramos muchos instrumentos nuevos. Y en cuanto a las temáticas, cómo nosotras con nuestros ojos de banda panamericana estamos viendo el mundo. Y lo que vimos en esos últimos 8 meses girando, porque cuando estamos en carretera es que la letra de la canción, pues vimos una realidad muy cruda, vimos una realidad que habla de los feminismos, una realidad que habla de las luchas de las mujeres en Latinoamérica, que habla de que nos queremos sentir seguras, de que es importante manifestarlo. Vimos que hay una crisis climática urgente que nos afecta a todas.
Tenemos el video Misterio, que también es parte de nuestro disco Oye Mujer, y es una oda al placer femenino y a las posibilidades del reconocimiento primero de nuestro cuerpo para poder saber qué exigir y cómo entender la sexualidad, cómo vivirla. Parece ser un tema necesario, la conversación abierta, y si la música es nuestro medio o nuestra herramienta principal, contamos con la presencia de Stephanie, una bailarina neoyorquina de familia latina, y tiene una expresión del cuerpo maravillosa que dijimos, si vamos a hablar del cuerpo y de cómo alguien se puede sentir bien con el cuerpo, ella parecía ser el mejor ejemplo para hacerlo.
Con la dama nosotras también hemos venido desarrollando un trabajo como educadoras y un trabajo de creación en las comunidades. Entonces, desde la primera gira hicimos unos talleres donde llegamos a las comunidades para niños, para niñas, para jóvenes, está como el enfoque en un principio, donde compartimos los ritmos de nuestros países y hacemos talleres de composición. Entonces, uno de los lemas que tenemos como educadoras es to create, es to exist. Crear es existir, y cuando empezamos a hacer los talleres y a estar en comunidades con niñas, detonan las chicas una realidad súper diferente. Particularmente si vas a un barrio pequeño o si vas a un pueblito pequeño donde de repente las niñas, el único referente que tiene de una mujer son las mujeres en el lugar, están solamente atendiendo a los hijos, atendiendo a las casas, atendiendo a los maridos. Llega otra persona, una mujer, la ven tocando tambor, que por si es una actividad como que requiere fuerza, ya las chicas quedan como...
Estando con la banda veo el concepto máximo de la música como una herramienta diplomática de impacto social.
Y podemos ser reflejo de lo que pasa en nuestros tiempos, ¿no? Porque la música siempre está contando lo que pasa históricamente, ¿no? Volviendo a las tradiciones orales, yo digo, qué lindo, y nos sentimos bien orgullosas de lo que estamos construyendo, porque también ha sido peculiar construir esta identidad panamericana.
So when's the right time to start dressing your age? 21? 30? 45? Is there a right time? We asked the ladies from the sketch comedy group Hilarious their thoughts, and that's the topic of today's Caliente Caliente.
Is it an outdated idea to dress your age? I think it is. I think our generation is changing all of that.
Word, preach.
I totally agree.
Can I just say, I think like my mom used to dress her age. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a certain get up every day for that like 30-something, 40-something year old mom back in the day. You know what I'm saying? All the moms dressed up like the mom jeans, picking us up at school. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a mom right now, and I'm gonna go on record saying right now on this show in front of y'all friends, I don't own a pair of Vicky mom jeans, and I never shall. And if I ever do, you, my sisters, my friends, you better check me. You better be like, yo, Rachel, those are mom jeans. Take them off right now. Just let me know if I purchase a pair of mom jeans. But I feel very stylish. I don't feel like there is a need to even think of my age when shopping. What do you think?
I think dressing your body type is more important than dressing your age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you feel like? I feel like your confidence is what really matters. So what you wear, because even though I agree, like dress for your body type, I also know some really thick girls, big girls with bellies that wear their crop tops. And depending on their confidence level, it looks good because it's the energy that they're bringing forward, you know?
I totally agree. I've always been chunky and I've always tried to dress for my stature, right? I believe that just because they make it in your size doesn't mean that you can wear it. That's my motto. It goes back to what Black Rose says. It depends on your confidence level and how you feel, if you're comfortable. And if you walk into that room and you're rocking it and you own it.
And we see so many great examples, like Jennifer Lopez. Yes, she has a personal trainer and a chef and all that stuff. That she works out and she, 52 is the new 32, apparently, when it comes to Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
But then you also have, like, back in the day, Tina Turner. I feel like would you have ever caught Tina Turner with a pair of mom jeans? No,
no way, Jose. She's got legs and she knows how to move them.
Do you think it's a Latina thing? Do you think Latinas are more susceptible of not dressing their age?
I think we're more unapologetic about it.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Great answer.
Yes.
Great answer.
High five. Yes.
As we should be. Why should we apologize for feeling good and wanting to look sexy and feel sexy? Like right now, I have a crew neck top on. I still feel sexy in this bodysuit.
You look sexy as all hell.
Like the song. You're too sexy for that crew neck.
Yes.
Just so you know.
But then you like
way too sexy for the crew neck. We're prideful. Whether we wear a muumuu or we're wearing a t-shirt. We're just prideful.
We really do carry ourselves in this way that, number one, just thinking of a Latina, you think sexy, seductive, spicy, right? So that's something that's like embedded in our DNA already. So we already, even when we on our bummy mode, we still look cute. You understand? Like it's just how we're walking, how we're talking. So Latinas do have that a little bit more, like that's why they find us exotic, we just come out a little different and we feel different in the things that we have.
In terms of Latinas, I think us being in tune with how we feel and what we wear and in our skin is part of self-care. It's definitely part of self-care, because us tending to our own self-care helps with our confidence. It helps us want to put our best face and best foot forward. And that comes with how we present ourselves on the outside.
So I think it's also with your upbringing, right? We're just not frumpy people. It's not who we are, and it's not where we came from. So it's definitely an inner thing. Like Nick Cannon says, right? If you look good, you feel good, then you do good. I believe that.
They were prepping us because they wanted us to make sure we found that rich white man.
100%.
Right here. Where is he? Is he out? Is he still there? Or he's
here?
Just looking for a good man. Let's start with that.
Where are they?
Chilean writer Gabriela Mistral was the first Latino to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Born in Chile in 1889, Lucila Godoy Alcayaga took on the pen name Gabriela Mistral to honor two of her favorite poets, Gabriel D'Annunzio and Frederic Mistral. By 1922, while struggling professionally and personally, Mistral published her first book, Desolación, and went on to publish over 30 collections of poetry in her lifetime.
El mar sus millares de olas mece divino, oyendo a los mares amantes meso a mi niño.
Gabriela also dedicated herself to educational reform worldwide and subsequently became a lecturer and diplomat. She embraced feminism and not only advocated for women's rights, but also the rights of the poor, the indigenous, and many other disadvantaged groups. In 1945, Mistral was the first woman to be awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, which she accepted on behalf of all of Latin America, and she is listed as one of the top 100 women who have changed the world. Gabriela Mistral, the most important writer and intellectual in Chilean history, is today's Badass Latina. As we celebrate our moms, abuelitas, and tías this month, the one way to honor them is to recall the best advice they ever gave you.
The
best piece of advice my mom has ever given me was to never rely on anyone to make my own living. She taught me that very young because my father passed away when I was young, and she basically raised me by herself. So she taught me to be a fierce and independent Latina woman, and here I am today.
The best advice my grandma ever gave me was, haz bien y no mires a quién. And it rings so true to me because in life you have to treat and respect people the same way you want to be treated.
My mother gave me a lot of great advice, but two that really stand out today are, one, she would quote God and say, "Cuídate, que yo te cuidaré." And the other was, "Lo único que no se pega es la salud." And those really ring true today, given the pandemic, and I think of her often.
I'm going to read to you the best piece of advice my grandmother, my late grandmother, Provi, wrote to me in a wedding card to my husband Nick and I. Llévate bien con tu esposo. So she's talking to me. No pelees, hablen. Hablando la gente se entienden. Se despide tu abuela que te quiere, Provi. This is important to me because it has made me mindful on communicating effectively with my husband. It's an important piece of advice, not only for your relationships, but just getting through life.
The best piece of advice my mother ever gave me was to be nice with others, help them whenever they need it. That helped me a lot today in my life, at work, with my family, with my kids, people around me. And I thank my mother for that. I miss her and I love her with all my heart. Thank you, Mommy.
So what happens when you mix a documentary, a photo exhibit, and an all-out dance party? You get Salsa Stories, a totally immersive New York City experience that has taken place all over town, including right here at La Plaza Cultural, one of the birthplaces of salsa music. The salsa experience you're about to see was created by Bianca Whittakay, and that's why she's today's Latina on the Rise.
I knew I was watching a goddess on stage. You couldn't see the bottom of the shoe. It looked like she was floating. And that voice came out.
This is one of several stories you'll hear in Salsa Stories, a musical extravaganza that mixes a video series about the history of salsa music with a traveling photo exhibition of New York City's salsa community, along with a dance party. The entire concept is the brainchild of salsa dancer turned producer, Bianca Whittakay.
I'm born and raised in Brazil. Salsa is not part of our culture because we're not Spanish speaker. And I do remember was early in college was the first time that I heard the first salsa song. And I remember vividly, it's like the words stopped. And I was always drawn to it. So once I ended up in New York City, it was just, it had to happen. And that's how I came to develop Salsa Stories.
The musical extravaganza is a nod to New York City's salsa roots.
Salsa was born on the streets of New York City, right? It was born out of this migration, mostly from Puerto Rican and Cuba, who in the 70s, around the 70s, early and after that, brought salsa, and that was in the streets, in the Lower East Side where we are, South Bronx and East Harlem. So I always wanted to go back to its origins. So I've always knew that the distribution model for this project had to happen outside. So the documentary was screened on an LED billboard truck, advertising truck in the middle of the street, which combines live music, DJs, a photo exhibition from the same people who appears in the video documentary, and a salsa class. It is an open street affair. It's a big celebration among salsa dancers and the community.
The very nature of Salsa Stories is not only to teach people the history of the music, but to also encourage community engagement as well.
The beauty about it is the diversity of the people who attend the event. So it welcomes people who are new to salsa, but it also brings those people who want to have an authentic salsa experience.
It's a very welcoming environment. The weather is beautiful. Anybody can join. You don't have to be the best dancer in the world, but there are great opportunities to learn, meet people, have a wonderful time.
It's just so much fun being a salsa dancer and being in the community.
Salsa Stories is the first of many salsa dance parties Bianca has planned. Where do you see Salsa Stories going? Where do you see it expanding to?
The ultimate goal for Salsa Stories is to take over the world, and you would be surprised. There are salsa communities in Siberia, in Japan, in everywhere, Germany, big salsa communities. So I want to investigate the lifestyle of those communities as well, make a documentary out of it, and after it's completed, present in these communities the way I did here.
And that's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu and follow our social media profiles because we love sharing our Latina stories with you. And please make sure you tune in next month. We'll be meeting Mother Pigeon, Fearless Sandra, and so much more. Uepa! Hasta la próxima. Bye-bye.